Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Analysis. Up for analysis today is Montauk Creature. This faceless hag is the stuff of nightmares and can torment her enemies in their sleep. She comes from the world of the dead to bring confusion and terrifying hallucinations. She is so greatly feared that many are afraid to fall asleep, which makes them progressively weaker. And so Montauk Creature is the newest and latest, well, one of the newest and latest Dark Legendary monsters. This monster's initial release was in the Hidden Creatures Maze event. And so, as of the time recording this video, there's a total of 46 Dark Legendary monsters. There are so many Dark Legendary monsters in Monster Legends, there's a lot of competition there. And Montauk Creature is also an underworld monster, and so once again, plenty of great competition there. And then she's also in the Spirits book, and this is quite a competitive book to be in. We have great monsters like the Nemesis monsters, we have Baba Yaga, man, like there's just so much competition in the Spirits book. And then lastly, she's also in the Female book, which again has plenty of great legendary monsters, a lot of competition in that book. And so with all that said, let's get into analyzing Montauk Creature. This monster has a power of 3190, making her one of the weakest Dark Legendary monsters in the whole entire game. Out of the 46 Dark Legendary monsters, a power stat of 3190 puts her in 36th place. And as for her life of 27,747, this isn't that great of a life either. This actually puts her in 27th place. So far she doesn't have an impressive power, she's on the weaker end, and she doesn't have that great of a life. But let's check out her speed. Would you take a look at that, her speed is 3498. This is the new Deny speed. The older generation of Deny monsters, they used to have a speed of 3465. That was the speed to have. But now it appears that every new Deny monster being released, their speed is 3498. And who knows, maybe later on if you're watching this video in the future, the new go-to Deny speed will be like 3509. You never know, but as of the time recording this video, this is the speed to have. In the Dark category, this makes her tied for 6th place, along with monsters like Samael the Plague Carrier and Nishan's Bodyguard. And as for the speed stat herself, in the Dark category, it's actually the 4th highest speed stat. So anyhow, the only monsters actually faster than Montauk Creature would have to be Lostigos, Jabeline, Jazzastar, Krampus, Palax. So those 5 monsters are the only ones faster than Montauk Creature. And of those 5 monsters I mentioned, the only 2 that are like main AoE deniers are Jazzastar and Krampus. But let's move on to the trait. The trait Montauk Creature has is Abomination, immunity to possession, nightmares, and bleed. So Jazzastar isn't that much of a threat against Montauk Creature because guess what, you can't be possessed. And so the only main threat in terms of being denied in the Dark category would be Krampus. But anyhow, having the trait Abomination is like one of the best traits a monster can have, especially because Social Point just announced that they are going to be fixing Abomination so that it ignores all types of possessions. A monster that has the Abomination trait isn't supposed to be possessed by those obscure possession skills like Hag, like Corruption, like Subscribed, so it's going to work against regular possession and those special possessions. So Abomination is really the way to go. And then lastly, this monster is going to be able to hold a Staff Relic and an Amulet Relic, and unfortunately I can't really comment on how significant this is going to be because the relics are still in the works. We're still trying to figure out what's going to become of them, how good they're going to be, what part they're going to play in the game. So just take that information for what it is. Amulet Relic, Staff Relic, has the Abomination trait, and a really great speed stat. And so now that we have all that basic information out of the way, let's get into analyzing the stats. Starting things off with the ultimate skill, Size is Relative. Deals massive special damage to all enemies, applies possession to enemies. So the ultimate attack is an AoE special based attack that deals 65 damage, which isn't that significant. Once again, this monster is not an attacker. You can tell that by the power stat. This monster is incredibly fast, so she's a deny monster. And the AoE possession is great. And even though, again, she can't deal that much damage, I guess it is pretty nice that they did give her a 65 special based AoE ultimate. So overall, I don't have much to complain about this skill. And so we're actually going to skip skills group 1 and jump right into skills group 2, starting things off with Spirit's Entry. Deals very heavy dark damage to one enemy, applies blind to one enemy, requires cooldown. 55 damage, dark based attack, costs 22 stamina with a 1 turn cooldown, and it blinds the enemy. And for those of you that are very familiar with me, you guys would know that I love blind. Blind is sometimes even better than just denying with a freeze or a stun, because the enemy loses 50% of their accuracy. Now keep in mind, single hits, that they already have a 95% accuracy, and AoEs, they typically have a 90% accuracy. So when you're subtracting 50, the chances of them landing a hit is going to be either 40 or 45%. Those are really great odds, and blind lasts for 2 turns. I don't know how many battles I've won because of blind, so you should never count out a skill that has blind. Unfortunately though, for this monster specifically, I don't think you need to run Spirit's Entry because she has a better version in skills group 3, and then she has some other really great skills in skills group 2. So with that said, let's jump into Vacuum Gaze. Deals very heavy special damage, applies guard down to an enemy, requires cooldown. So here we have a 50 damage special waves attack, costs 27 stamina, has a 1 turn cooldown, but this time it applies guard down. And this is really interesting, really awesome, because we haven't seen a monster that can give guard down, with the exception of Nadiel, the Nemesis monster, General Alzis' nemesis. So what does guard down do exactly? Guard down makes it so you always land the attack on the enemy monster. It doesn't matter if you're blinded, it doesn't matter if you're dazed, it doesn't matter if you're blind, dazed, and have sunburn. Sunburn also reduces your accuracy by 15%. So guard down, it's similar to like precision, but precision is a positive effect that increases your accuracy. Guard down is a negative effect on the enemy. And so there's obvious pros and cons, because for one, you need to apply guard down, which if you're doing it against a monster that has like Bulwark, Tough, Harden, it may not land just because of their trait. Whereas with precision, that's an increased accuracy to yourself, that's a positive effect, so you don't need to worry about the enemy monster's trait. But with guard down you do. But again, the positive to that is that even if you have a negative effect that decreases your accuracy, thanks to them having guard down, you're gonna land the attack. And if a monster has guard down, you also always land the effect. And so for that reason, this skill can definitely come in handy. It's a great setup skill for either your attacker or your other deny monster. And for some people, I would recommend it. I mean, I guess I might as well tell you guys now. My recommended skill set for this monster is going to be Skills Group 3, and then you're free to choose whatever skill you want from Skills Group 2. Whether it be Spirit's Entry, Vacuum Gaze, or Portal to Nightmares, the last attack. So yeah, Vacuum Gaze, you may want to consider it if you want to start utilizing that guard down. And anyhow, with that said, the last skill in Skills Group 2 is Portal to Nightmares. Deals very heavy dark damage to one enemy, applies stun to one enemy, requires cooldown. So here we have a 45 dark based attack that costs 29 stamina, has a 1-turn cooldown. You notice that with all of these skills, they all don't deal too much damage, they're all single enemy, and they only have a 1-turn cooldown. But anyhow, the cool thing about Portal to Nightmares is that it's a single stun skill, and you never know when the single stun comes in handy. 95% accuracy, and you get a chance to immobilize the enemy monster. And so you're essentially just gonna have to decide, do you want a single stun, do you want a single guard down, or do you want a single blind? And I think if I had to pick these skills in terms of importance, it would probably have to be Portal to Nightmares, Vacuum Gaze, and Spirit's Entry. So I imagine the majority of people will be running Portal to Nightmares, myself included if I get this monster. However, Vacuum Gaze, like I said, for those of you that want to play around with it, by all means go for it. It's definitely not a bad skill at all. And honestly, for the most part, you'll rarely probably get a chance to use whatever skill you choose, just because you're going to be so focused on Skills Group 3 skills. And so what exactly are the Skills Group 3 skills, you ask? Well, let's jump right into it, starting things off with the Wraith's Gate. Wraith's Gate deals moderate dark damage to all enemies, applies blind to all enemies. Yes, that is right, we have an AoE blind. This skill is an AoE that deals 40 dark damage to all of the enemy monsters. It only costs 27 stamina and it has a 2-turn cooldown. So an AoE blind, oh my gosh, that is incredible. Well, no, let's be honest, it's not incredible yet. Let's jump over to Portal to Horrors. Deals moderate dark damage to all enemies, applies stun to all enemies, requires cooldown. We have an AoE stun skill, 35 dark base damage, 41 stamina cost, 2-turn cooldown. That's not really important. What matters is that we have an AoE stun skill, so this monster can immobilize the enemy team with a stun, and then on the next turn you can do an AoE blind to further immobilize them, or to decrease your accuracy, which most of the time really works. They're not going to be landing attacks against you. Just the fact that it's a stun and then a blind, I love it so much, and that's truly what makes this monster really amazing. The speed, the trait, and the stun and the blind. And if you thought things couldn't get any better, wait until you look at the final skill, Observe the Infinite. Activates all cooldowns on when enemy requires cooldown. And so here we have an attack that deals no damage, it costs 15 stamina and has a 4-turn cooldown. Yes, the 4-turn cooldown is high, but it activates the cooldowns on a single enemy monster. Once again, considering your amazing base speed, you can outspeed most enemy monsters. And if there's just one target that, let's say they're immobilizer, you know they don't have any 0 cooldown skills, or maybe they do have a 0 cooldown skill, but it's not that strong, you just don't want to get immobilized, bam, just activate the cooldown. Why risk trying to stun? That has a 10% chance to miss. Why risk trying to blind? That has a 10% chance to miss, and maybe they have a trait like Hardened, Tough, or Bulwark, which increases the chance of missing, or not landing the negative effect. In that case, just activate the cooldowns, they can't do anything to you. So, this monster is so darn amazing. I love this monster. I can't believe this monster. It depends on when you're watching this video. This monster was available in the Hidden Creatures maze, and it was free for free-to-play players. If they just played the game, if they logged in every 4 hours, they got their maze coins, they were able to get Montauk Creature. So, a phenomenal monster. If you have this monster, my recommended skill set, like I said earlier, would be all of Skills Group 3, and then it's up to you to pick which skill you want from Skills Group 2. Personally, I think I would recommend Portal to Nightmares, then you can make the argument for Vacuum Gaze, but seriously, Portal to Nightmares I think would come in handy more often than none, because you have Portal to Horrors, which is an AoE stun, and then sure they get immunity to stun for the next turn, but then by then they're going to be blinded, or maybe they're going to be cooldown activated, so then you just stun whenever you need to. So yeah, great monster. As for runes, just give it 3 speed runes. Make sure you give her the best speed runes because she wants to go first and she wants to mobilize the enemy team. Overall, I really like this monster. For one, the analysis is pretty straightforward. She's great in all regards. Yeah, she doesn't have a high power. Yeah, her life isn't that great. But the speed, the trait, the deny skills, truly phenomenal. And that is actually going to be it for my analysis of Montauk Creature. I really hope everyone enjoyed it. And I want to hear from all of you guys. What do you think about this monster? How do you think she compares to the other monsters in the dark category, the underworld, the spirits, especially the spirits? Do you think she's gonna get much usage in the spirits book, or probably not? Or how about the female book? There's a lot of competition there. Do you think she stands a chance in the spirits book, or probably not? Please let me know whatever thoughts are going on through your guys' mind in the comments below. And with that being said, best of luck to all of you on your Monster Legends adventures, and like always, remember to dream big and pursue your passions.